No. Hey everyone, my name is CJ Obermeyer, and I'm going to be talking about the things I've learned coming from a DevOps engineer to an education engineer. So I'm an education engineer at HashiCorp. Before that, I worked at the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City for 5 years. I lead our well-architected framework, and I live in Kansas City with my wife, my dog Blue, and my cat Dinah. So in this Ignite, we're going to be talking about the things that I've learned about creating documentation, and then we're going to talk about the tips and tricks I can give you all on using documentation. So here's a list of the things we're going to cover. Persona, jobs to be done, creating bite-sized content, finding and working with collaborators, and then publishing in Cunningham's Law. So personas are pretty important for writing. Personas give you the specific reader that you have in mind. So for me, writing the well-architected framework, I write for decision makers and implementers. Jobs to be done, that focuses on solving user-specific problems. So for example, traditional documentation, you might write a whole page about TLS. Jobs to be done, I write a document about build a certificate authority, something very specific. And here's an example of finding that on our well-architected framework. Secure application, then you scroll to manage certificates, and then you find that job to be done, which is build a certificate authority. Next thing is I found it useful to create bite-sized pieces of information. These bite-sized pieces of information are very specific to defining a problem, defining a solution, and then I give the reader resources and guidance on how to solve that job to be done. Finding collaborators at your organization is also super important. Things like subject matter experts, architect, and sales. When you work with these people, you make your documents more technically accurate, you create better value for your target audience, which is your reader. And then getting feedback is really important, but it's also really hard. So in my opinion, the best way is to publish. And this follows Cunningham's Law, which says the best way to get the right answer on the internet is not to ask a question, but is to post the wrong answer. And here's a comic on it. And so for you all, it's really important to give us the writer's feedback. So some of the things we look for is inaccuracies in the documentation, inconsistencies, stuff that needs further explanation, and content that we should add to help you. And it's pretty easy to submit feedback. A lot of documentations have this at the bottom of the sheet. So this is GitLab and HashiCorp. At the bottom, there's a did it help, yes or no, and then a bubble will pop up and you can write back your feedback, which we do read. And so here's some tips and tricks for using documentation. We're going to go over using the navigation bar, using the get started documentation, don't just rely on Google, and then document adventure. So the navigation bar, authors, we put a lot of time and effort into creating the navigation bar to help you all find what you need to look for. So definitely poke around in it and see if it can help you find the content that you need. And we do try to optimize it. So this is for my well-architected framework, and I'm reviewing how users go and traverse the documentations here, so I can try to make it as easy as possible for you all.
Okay.
Pay attention to the get started. So this is actually one of my favorite parts. So when I was a DevOps engineer, getting started with new technology was sometimes hard, but get started is a great way to get software up and running and get your hands dirty really quickly. And don't just rely on Google. Obviously, Google's great for finding things, but it doesn't always. So try the search menu on documentation sites, and you're going to have a more fine-grained results. And then documentation adventure. A lot of the times, documentation will have next steps for you at the bottom of a page. And this is us giving you all maybe more information that you didn't know that you needed, or that might help you further what you're trying to do. So thank you for listening. If you want to talk about documentation, tutorials, how HashiCorp writes our docs, feel free to talk to me later today.